Welcome to Toy Works. We're going to talk about Cybertron from the 2005 Transformers Cybertron series. We have today Optimus Prime, Leo Breaker, and Wingsaber from that series. We're going to do a quick review of each. Going to show you their alt mode and robot modes, and of course their cyber key special features. Plus at the very end, we'll combine each of these to Optimus Prime and show you their special combinations that was shown in the TV cartoon series. A little note on this. This toy line's been around for a little over 20 years now. And as you know, the Transformers, the movie, is going to be 40 years old this year, this August. One thing that's been fairly consistent since the movie is that in every Transformers toy line, there is an Optimus Prime toys, but since 1988, with the introduction of Power Master Optimus Prime in North America and Super Ginrai in Japan, Optimus Prime has the ability to combine with another robot to combine into a super robot mode. And you'll see that today with the Transformers Cybertron series. So in front of us, you'll see Optimus Prime is not in his usual semi-truck mode, but instead, he's in a Cybertronized mode, like a fire truck mode, for the lack of a better word. In his case, he has two ladder-like attachments on the truck, and you'll see that those two gray parts, they double as his weapons. In the middle, you have Leo Breaker. He's a mechanized Cybertron lion. He does have a lot of animalistic features compared to the other toys of this toy line during this time, and we'll explain why that is later. Finally, we have Wingsaber. Wingsaber is a Cybertronized A12 Warthog, or A10 Warthog. He looks like the plane that we see here on Earth, but they kind of souped him up a bit. You'll see that he's armed to the teeth in his plane mode. Right now, we're going to go through each one of these robots, and we'll begin with Optimus Prime. So we'll set aside these two. We'll talk about them later. But for now, we'll focus on Optimus Prime. So the first thing you'll notice is that Optimus Prime is in his traditional colors: red, blue, and a bit of white, some gray all over him. And you'll notice that unlike his previous modes, he is bristled with weapons. Right away, you'll see that he has two side guns on each side of the truck mode. He has a cannon-like weapon on the right side of the truck. And then on the left side, he has something like a ladder attachment. And this is because in this mode, he's supposed to be a Cybertron fire truck. So we're gonna give you a breakdown of how he looks like in the robot. We'll start by transforming him by taking his back part out. So very much like his other incarnations, he does have like an attachment in his non-super mode. So you'll see that when Kaful takes him apart, he is made of several sections. So we'll focus on a smaller robot first. So I'll let Kaful do his magic. So as you can see, he has, in addition to his robot mode, he has the large backpack, which forms the back of the fire truck. And he has a small attachment that forms his weapon banks. And like a typical Optimus Prime smaller robot, he's very easy to transform from his truck mode to his robot mode. You'll recognize a lot of the same transformation schema as you would from other Optimus Prime toys. The front becomes his torso, the truck bed becomes his legs, and then the sides of the truck pose out to become his arms. While this Optimus Prime is not exactly complicated, he is satisfying to transform. Everything locks in place. Everything doesn't droop easily. And as you can hear during the transformation sequence, there's a lot of ratchet to this toy. So this toy has about the regular amount of articulation you would see in a modern Transformer. We'll start counting his points of articulation. First, his head can move left and right. So he has that swivel. He does not look up, unfortunately. There is no neck joint that allows him to look up and down. His shoulder can rotate 360. His elbow can bend 90 degrees each way. And there is also an elbow swivel that lets his arm turn left and right, like so. And his arm can raise up and down on the side, like on the side. That's it, yep. And then his legs, same thing. There's a waist articulation. So he can turn his waist, swivel it left and right, like so. There's hip articulation. He can move his legs up and down, side to side. And of course, you got to raise the belt, the waist panel up just to allow for that articulation. Yep. And then it moves side to side. Yep. And of course, there's a knee joint where he bends at 90 degrees, like so. And then finally, there's his feet as part of his transformation, but it can go up and down. You can pose them like so. So now you can see that Optimus Prime has all the articulation that you would expect to see in a typical Transformers toy of that era. You're probably wondering, okay, so where is his weapon? There are two options at this point. One, you can either detach the gun from his trailer or from his backpack, and it pulls right out, and it fits right onto his hand. Doesn't matter which hand. So just like any Optimus Prime toy you come to know, he has a weapon that he can carry. It does fire, so that button on top of the gun, when you press it, the missile fires. But we're not going to do it in this video. And of course, him being Optimus Prime, he comes with the Matrix. So first shown in the Transformers the movie, his Matrix comes it's stored within his chest. And there is a panel, very much like the movie, where it kind of flips down, or in this case, it just flips out. And then the Matrix is stored within his chest. So if you pull the Matrix out, it's almost like the replica that you see in the 1986 movie. Except in this case, it doesn't pull apart and it doesn't light up in some other versions. But it's one of the earlier incarnations of the Matrix in toy form. So that's how he is. That's most of his features in his regular robot mode. Now we're going to transform him into Super Optimus Prime mode. So it's a very easy process. So first you want to take the gun out, just to get it out of the way. Then you're going to flip down the legs or the feet behind the back of his legs. So it forms a Super Robot mode feet. That adds about 1.5 inches to the robot's overall height. And then with the weapon assembly, the two side guns, you just take it apart and then attach it to the back of the leg. So what that does is that it adds a little bit of bulk and stability to this Super Robot mode. So Kafu is going to show you how that's attached in a moment here when he gets everything set up. So that locks into the back, like so. And then you can stand him up. That not only gives him extra bulk, but it also gives him the extra stability he needs when he stands up. There's an option for you to flip the weapons up, the two low side guns up, like that. Now, you're probably wondering, why does he need such a big pair of legs? Well, it's because he needs something to help support the big backpack he's going to attach onto him right now. So the back of the fire truck when it unfolds out, there is two, I guess, what you call backpack straps that attaches to Optimus Prime. So Kafuu is going to attach the backpack onto Optimus Prime right now. So as you can see, these two straps, the black straps, it flips up like that. They are tight because it does lock in place quite firmly. So now Kafuu is going to put that onto Optimus Prime. Like that. It slides right in. And then once it slides in, he puts the straps back on. And you'll notice that the straps themselves have some detailing. There's some missile pods on the straps. Now this kind of gives you the idea that this version of Optimus Prime is very well armed. Okay, so once that's done, he can either keep the backpack in that mode and then have the weapon swing out forward, like so, where he can go into battle with the guns and cannons ablazing. And then of course he can put a gun back into his hand at this point. So this is one of the modes that you can put him in. Or instead of this mode, you can always swing the wings 180 degrees. You might have to take the backpack off for that. Okay, so you swing the wings 180 like so. Yep. Do the same thing on the right wing. Like that. And then put the backpack back onto Optimus Prime. Yeah. And again, make sure that the fit is just right. It slides right in. He is a little back heavy. So make sure that everything is centered when you transform him. So now you have the option of either having Optimus Prime holding onto the gun or reattach that gun onto his right side cannon. And what that does is it would add to the extra firepower of the cannon. So there you have it. You have Optimus Prime in his super armor mode. Now you may notice that right behind Optimus Prime, there's that blue accessory, and that is called a cyber key. Throughout the entire Transformers Cybertron TV cartoon, they had to find the relic that would save Cybertron after Unicron was destroyed and left a black hole. The Autobots were tasked to find the 4 cyber keys from the planets Speed Planet, Jungle Planet, Giant Planet, and Earth. So in this case, the key acts kind of like a mini-con from the Armada and the Energon series, where it kind of unlocks the features of a larger robot. So when you put the cyber key in one of the cannons, let's say the left cannon, an action feature is shown. So in case the right cannon, right, when you push it in, a sound would come out or a missile would come out. But if you put it on the left one, if you put the key on the left side, it would unleash the casing for one of the cannons, and then the sound would come on, it would activate the cannon. So there you have it. This is Optimus Prime in a super robot mode. So now we're going to move on to Leo Breaker. With Leo Breaker, unlike Optimus Prime, Leo Breaker is a beast form transformer. Leo Breaker is from the Jungle Planet. And what he does is he forms into a robot, and he's a fighter, an Autobot fighter that's based on that planet. So Kafuu is going to transform him, and he's going to show you the similar features that we have shown, or that we've shown you with Optimus Prime. So first of all, you can remove the tail, which forms a whip weapon for Leo Breaker. Okay, and then he's going to form him into, or transform him into his robot mode. Now, if he looks familiar, like his transformation looks familiar, it's because a lot of his engineering is very similar to Beast Wars Cheetor, or Tigertron if you prefer. You flip down the legs, the beast legs to form the robot legs. You move up the arm, free up the panels on the torso. Yep, and again, notice that there's a lot of ratchets and a lot of tight panels for this robot. Okay, and then once that's out of the way, you flip down the torso, lock it in place, make sure the lion's head is facing towards you. Okay, transform the arms. Again, very much like any Beast War robots you've seen of that era, where the front legs of the animal mode forms the robot arms. And of course, the head. You flip out the head that's encased within the lion's mane. And there you have it, Leo Breaker in his robot mode. The whip goes in his hand. Okay. Now, very much like Optimus Prime, he has your standard Transformers articulation. His head looks side to side because there's a swivel on his head, like so. It doesn't really look up unless you count the looking down part, but that's part of his transformation. You'll notice that his head also has that lion's mane panel on it. He can move at the waist. He can turn left and like he can kind of look up and down because of the transformation, like that, but he cannot look left and right. His arm, very much like Optimus Prime, it can swing 360 around, yep. And you notice that his front arm above the elbow joint can move up. And then of course there's the elbow joint itself. And then there is a slight articulation on his wrist, but that's also because of his animal mode transformation. Now you'll notice that he has some claws on the side of his arms. He's not like Wolverine, but the Cyber Key feature would unleash the spring, which would let the claw kind of spring out a bit. So Kafu is gonna push down on a button, and then that's going to unleash the paw, which is going to spring out like that. It's the same for the other side. Going down to the leg, he has the hip articulation, just like Optimus Prime. He can go to the side, and then of course he can swing forward, backward. And then of course there's a knee articulation. And very much like his wrist, because of his transformation from beast to robot, there's some ankle articulation because of it, but all, again, depends on whether or not you count that as an articulation point. Now we have a special treat with this version of Leo Breaker. He has a sound chip, a working sound chip. Unlike Optimus Prime, you don't always get the sound chip for the North American release of Leo Breaker. So Kafu is going to show you where that button is. It's right above the lion head. It's going to make a noise by pushing it. You can push it again, and it makes a lion's noise. So the mouth also opens for the lion. The lion's head is sculpted pretty well. And we'll show you a little later how Leo Breaker connects to Optimus Prime. They are combinable to an extent. So that's it for Leo Breaker. Now we're going to move on to the final member, Wingsaber. And Wingsaber, again, is a vehicle mode. Somewhat modeled after the A10 Warthog. And you'll notice right away, this guy, unlike Optimus Prime or Leo Breaker, he has weapons all over him. And this is because Wingsaber is part of a Autobot sub-team named the Autobot Cybertron Defense. And we'll cover that in another video. And for the Autobot Cybertron Defense, you'll notice that they have a very particular symbol on top of the regular Autobot insignia. And you'll see that in all the members of the Autobot Cybertron Defense team. So we're going to transform him. So unlike Optimus Prime, he is not a land vehicle. He's basically a weapons platform on wings. So the first thing you got to do is he's going to show you how to disassemble him and kind of put him back together as a robot. And there has been comments that Wingsaber looks somewhat like Powerglide, and it's a good argument. I mean, they're both kind of based off of the same plane. Yeah, and again, very much like the other two robots, you can hear how tight their joints are because of the ratchet joints that were commonplace during this era of Transformers. One of the very clever thing about Wingsaber is that you'll notice that the miniguns, the Gatling guns, while there are 6 barrels, one of them retreats so that the gun forms 5 finger-like protrusions. When you look at it, right, it actually looks like hands with fingers. So instead of having 6 guns, you have 5 fingers. Wingsaber also is one of the few robots of this era where it has a vacuum chrome deco on his chest. So that shiny part on his chest is actually a vacuum chrome seal finish. And there you have it, Wingsaber. He is part of the Autobot Cybertron defense unit, and again, very much like in his plane mode, he's armed to the teeth. So let's go through his points of articulation. He has his head articulation. His head turns left and right, just like any robot. Doesn't look up and down though. And while it's awkward, he does have shoulder articulation. But in this case, it's kind of hindered by the wings. It's kind of in the way, but the shoulders do move up and down like so. But the wing gets in the way, so it can't go 360. But it does move on both sides. He has his elbow articulation, and again, it kind of depends on how you see it, because he needs that joint for the transformation, but he does have a functioning and articulating elbow joint. He does not have an arm joint, a wrist joint, but there is like kind of a joint running in his mid forearm, and again, it's because of his transformation. Okay, so looking at his waist, as Kafua has shown during the transformation sequence, it does swivel left and right. But in this case, there's also an additional joint which lets the robot bend forward a bit. And of course, the hip joint, it moves forward. It swings out. It lets his leg swings out. It lets him swings out to the side. And of course, you can hear how tight the ratchets are because he is really well made. And there are knee joints for this robot. The knee allows him to articulate. You want to pose him in any way. And there's some limited ankle joints as well because of the transformation. And you'll notice that in the last 3 robots, the ankle joint is a consequence of the transformation. But what really makes this toy shine is the sheer amount of weapons he have. So for the flaps, the airplane flaps that he has, they actually form little swords. So there are handles that's kind of hidden in the back of the plane. You take those out, and these pieces are actually the sword hilts that connects with the airplane flaps. So Kafua is going to show you how they join up together. It's like so. You can do the same for the other wing flap. The idea is very similar to the Beast Wars combiner Magnaboss, where Silverbolt has his feathers used as swords. But in this case, they take this toy one step further and give him actual swords. So they do attach to his hands, but because he doesn't have actual hands, they kind of go on his side. So they kind of act like bayonets or claws, if you will. Very much like, again, like Leo Breaker. And of course, he has the 2 gun pods on each side of the wings. And in this case, there's 2 gun pods and there's like a missile launcher on each wing. And they do fire, and they fire pretty far. But for the sake of this video, we'll not activate that missile launching feature. And finally, his backpack, very much like Optimus Prime, is an integral part of his robot mode. But in this case, if you attach the cyber key to this pod, his weapon system deploys, and you can actually swivel up the entire unit above his head, like so. And you'll see there's a rack that flips out from the back of the head, where it mobilizes into position, and it locks it in place, so that now you see Wingsaber in his completely armed mode. There is a button for Wingsaber's weapon pod, and it does make a machine gun sound when you push on the button. So that's Wingsaber. As a side note, all members of the Cybertron Defense Force are heavily armed. It's actually one of the unique features of this Autobot sub-team. Autobot robots or Autobot toys are typically not this well equipped. You would expect to see this in a Decepticon toy, but not in an Autobot toy. So when you put everything together, this is Wingsaber's Cybertron Defense mode in robot mode. So we're going to go back to Optimus Prime for a minute here, and we're going to start combining some of these toys together. With Optimus Prime, a unique feature about him is that he was designed so that he can combine with other Autobots, or if you prefer, Decepticons. And for Optimus Prime, it's a little tricky because in this case, right, you have to kind of do a minor transformation in order to make room to attach Leo Breaker in this instance. So what Cafu is going to do is he's going to transform his left arm into a position where he can allow Leo Breaker to connect to his left arm. So when he does that, what Cafu has shown is there is a port on the shoulder that allows Leo Breaker to connect with Optimus Prime. So in this mode, even though I've seen some people connecting the backpack while connecting to Leo Breaker, just for the sake of simplicity, we're going to leave the backpack out of this. We're going to put Optimus aside, and we're going to go and concentrate on Leo Breaker and make him into his arm. So in this case, Leo Breaker has 2 pieces that disconnect from the main robot, which are the arms. And we're going to transform him first. And Cafu is going to disconnect the forearms of the robot mode. Leave them out. It's going to transform the legs so that the ports can be revealed. And from this point, the 2 legs that he removed earlier can be connected onto him. Like so. Now keep in mind, the claw deployment gimmick is still active in this mode. So it's up to you whether or not you want the claws to be deployed or just want to leave them in their default position. Okay, once that's done, you can see that there is a mechanism where Optimus can use the hind legs of Leo Breaker as his extra appendage. And then finally, you'll see that there's a post on the back of Leo Breaker, a big square post. And that's where it goes, and that's the post that connects to Optimus Prime. So Cafu is going to put the 2 together right now. So Leo Breaker connects right onto Optimus Prime. It can be either left or right, but in this case, we're going to show you the left arm connecting Leo Breaker to Optimus Prime. And it does articulate. It does move up and down. The entire assembly moves up and down. But as you can expect, because of the sheer weight of Leo Breaker, this is not a very stable mode. You can always reposition Leo Breaker's forearms so that it's a little bit less in the way. But ultimately, because of the sheer weight of the toy, it doesn't really stay on that well. And of course, Optimus Prime doesn't really balance that well because of the weight. There is Nemesis Breaker, which is like a recolor of Leo Breaker, which is like the Decepticon counterpart of Leo Breaker. And you can also attach him to the other arm, but you get the idea. So from this point, we're going to take out Leo Breaker and connect Wingsaber onto Optimus Prime. So unlike the backpack that Optimus Prime has by default, you cannot connect the backpack and Wingsaber together. So you got to pick one or the other. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to just focus on transforming Wingsaber into the backpack mode, and then we're going to connect him to Optimus Prime. So you start by taking out the weapons. Yep, from the wing, flip them out. It is a little heavy, keep in mind, so it might be easier for you to just take out the weapon after you detach the wing. Okay, and then put the wing back on. Do the same with the left wing, and then disconnect the gun pod from the left wing, just as you have with the right side. Okay, set those aside. Take out the swords. Now here comes the tricky part. We got to reconfigure Wingsaber into the backpack by kind of shifting everything out of the way so he can fit onto Optimus Prime. I'll let Kaful work his magic with this. So basically, he just transforming the legs of Wingsaber back into the jet mode. So everything's out of the way. And of course, it forms a jet engine for Optimus Prime in his combined mode. So once that's done, you'll notice that when Kaful lifts up the chest piece, there is a yellow tab. And that yellow tab slots onto the back of Optimus Prime in their combined mode. So now Kaful is going to put the two together. Make sure everything's cleared so that when you combine the two robots, there's no pieces that are in the way where it's not supposed to. Now the backpack mode goes on to the back of Optimus Prime. Yeah, there's that hair trigger button. As you can see, there's that slot on the base of Optimus Prime's back. That's where the yellow pig goes into when they combine together. So you'll see how Kaful puts the two together. It goes in perfectly, like so. You should hear a click sound. And then once that's done, you swing down the chest plate and then lock that in place and then lock the front together. But unlike Optimus Prime's actual original backpack, there is no strap that locks it in place. So everything kind of stays put because of the tabs and the slots. So very much like his other backpack, he is quite back heavy. So what you can do is you can swing out the gun pod that's formed by the nose cone. And you can put that in the heel spurs. You can put the gun pods into the heel spurs to give it some extra stability. Like so. Do the same for the other leg. Oh. They do get a little tight, so. like so. So now you get the extra stability he needs on the leg. And of course, if you want to make him less back heavy, swing up the gun pod in the back, like you did with Wingsaber. And there you have it. Now you have the option of putting the swords in his hands. Unlike Wingsaber, Optimus Prime has actual hands, so he can hold on to the swords like a normal robot would. Like that. Same thing with the other sword. And there are pegs on the sword that goes into the ports found inside Optimus Prime's hands. And you can also swing out Wingsaber's wing extension to give him the maximum access to his weapons. And of course, this is reminiscent of his other backpack, where it allows him flight. So there you have it. You have Optimus Prime and Wingsaber combined into their super mode. They look somewhat like a Gundam mobile suit, and a little bit like a Power Ranger Zord robot, but they kind of stick this into like that type of aesthetic into Transformers during this era. You'll see that in other Transformers as well. So there you have it. You have Optimus Prime in his other combined mode with Wingsaber. Last but not least, to kind of give him the full power up, you can always just extend the chest piece just to give him that extra armored look. And of course, you can swing out the side cannons on Optimus Prime just to give him even more firepower, like you did with his Super Optimus Prime mode. Now he's armed to the teeth. There you have it. You have Cybertron Optimus Prime in his full armor mode. We'll do Cybertron defense later just to show you how armed the Autobots can be in a future video. But if you like what you see here today, hit like and subscribe to our channel. See you at the next one.